usually think of art as just decoration, something that is slapped on as an afterthought. But in some parts of the world, art serves a function beyond aesthetics. It becomes a part of how things work. If you travel to Kutch in Gujarat, you'll see walls covered in beautiful mud patterns, tiny glittering mirrors. People buy it to decorate their modern homes. But it was born out of survival necessity. This is the story of Lipan art. The Run of Kutch is the largest white salt desert of India, and it's a brutal place to inhabit. The days can get excruciatingly hot, while the nights can be freezing. The ground is prone to earthquakes and flooding. To survive here, nomadic communities like the Rabari, Mutwa, and Meghavan had to design a very specific kind of house. They built bhangas, which are circular mud huts with tiny windows. But why circular? Because flat walls absorb the full brutal force of the sun and desert winds, while curved walls let the wind glide past and spread the sun's heat evenly around the structure. The same logic is applied to igloos. To survive the hostility of Kutch, Lipan art was born. The bhangas had to resolve three problems at the same time: remain strong during earthquakes, block the heat, and make the dark interiors livable. This is where Lipan art comes in. Locally, it's called Lipan Kam, which literally just means to apply. The canvas is held together by three materials: mud, dung, and husk. They combine to form a natural concrete. The mud gives it shape, the dung binds it together, and the husk acts like fiber reinforcement, just like steel rebars inside modern concrete. This makes the walls durable and less likely to crack. Artisans then roll this mixture into thin strips and lay it directly onto the wall. While the surface is still wet, small mirrors are pressed into it. At first glance, it looks merely decorative, but when you look closer, every layer is doing physics. Let's start with temperature. Now, heat doesn't stop at a wall, it just moves through it. So the mud, dung, and husk layer together work like insulation. It slows down the pace of heat moving through the wall, similar to how thermocol or foam slows down heat transfer. So less heat enters during the day and less heat escapes during the night, which makes for cooler days and warmer nights. Now, let's look at the mirrors. They are doing two things. On the outside, they reflect light and reduce direct heat from hitting the walls. But on the inside, they do something more interesting. Now, you see, bhangas have small windows, which means very little light enters in. But when a streak of light hits these mirrors, it scatters across the room, which turns one light source into many. Additionally, the mirrors outside the building were believed to ward off evil eyes and were used as a nazar battu. So this wall alone is holding the structure, regulating temperature, and improving light. Fascinating, right? And once the system worked, something else happened. These walls became expressive. The designs were being made freehand without any measuring or pre-drawing, and over time, different communities developed their own visual patterns. The Rabari and Meghaval communities now use animals, daily life, and natural forms, while the Mutwa community leans more into geometry, symmetry, and repetition. So this established system starts to carry identity. Today, we have flattened our understanding of Lipan art. We treat it as some detached aesthetic, something you buy at a boutique shop and hang up in a city apartment. But originally, the art wasn't separate from its functionality. It was how a house breathed. But artistic pursuits in our contemporary times have flattened our understanding of art. Because as much as art exists for expression, it also strives to innovate, protect, and quite literally in the case of Lipan art, illuminate. This is Unexplored.